All right, we're live.
Yay!
Yeah, and Chuck's still
You were
alive.
saying you wanted to ask me something.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how hard 75 is going.
So 75 hard is
Oh, yeah.
going well. One thing that they did that actually makes it easier is they created an app. And
Oh,
so
nice.
so it'll track. So if you've seen my Instagram story,
Yeah,
I've been posting stuff that looks a whole lot like this.
exactly. Yep.
So that's the app. And what it does is it gives you the checklist for the day. And so you just check everything off.
Oh, cool. I
And
like that.
I tell it that I usually go to bed before 11. Usually I'm in bed by 10.
Yeah.
But so at 11 o'clock, then it'll prompt me and it'll say, did you finish or do you need to start over?
Right. Oh, nice.
And so that works out pretty well. But yeah, so it's going pretty well. What's funny is that I'm 2 weeks in at this point. I'm on day 12, and I don't know what the deal is, but like last night and this morning, I have just been dead dog tired.
Yeah.
Like I don't really want to go work out, but I'm going to go anyway. But I am dragging. But for the most part, especially this week, I have felt a ton better than I have in a while.
Oh, good.
And I think some of it's like the physical, hey, you're getting up and moving, you're not eating a bunch of garbage, because and it's terrible because I'm diabetic, on top of the fact that it's just terrible for anybody, but I was eating all kinds of sweets and stuff. And
yeah.
So I went back on 75 hard and so I'm feeling better that way. It also helped that I was probably averaging about 9.5 hours of sleep a night because I had to recover from all the stuff I was putting myself through.
Yeah.
But I think there's a mental component to it too. I think some of it just comes from working out, right? Because it reduces stress. It has a bunch of other effects. But the other thing is I feel like my life is in more control.
Yeah.
And so I'm feeling a lot better about that. So yeah, all in all, that has gone really, really well, and I'm really, really feeling good. Except for today. Today I'm feeling like I just want to go lay in my bed and sleep for another 6 hours. So
it's probably just accumulated fatigue just from, but you'll catch up to it. What'll happen is like your capacity for the fatigue will increase, and then it won't hit you quite as hard. But
yeah, because I mean, it doesn't kill me off to go running anymore, but I'm still just dragging hard. So at least today I have been. Usually it hits me about 8 or 9 at night, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But during the day I'm fine.
Yeah, I've been ravenously hungry since I started doing the hill workouts on the trails. It's like just crazy. Like I just ate like 1,800 calories for breakfast this morning.
Oh wow.
And I'm still hungry, but I'm gonna just have to I've got a 3-hour trail run tomorrow, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, it's crazy how when you up that exertion level, how your hunger increases so much. So
yep. Are you using some kind of eating plan while you do this, or do you just pack down whatever looks good?
Well, what I've been doing is using MyFitnessPal and just tracking everything, and then I've got like a calorie count in there, and then tracking walks and runs and stuff. So trying to maintain like a somewhat of a deficit. But what I'm going to start doing is, in fact, I have it scheduled for Saturday. I'm going to plan out my meals and just go to a strict meal plan, just pretty much eating the same thing every day. Because the problem is it's too variable, and then sometimes I go over the calories that I intended, because once you start eating, it becomes hard to eat, unless you've got an exact plan of what you're supposed to eat. So I guess this is kind of like a if it fits your macros type of thing I'm doing now. But it's I mean, it works, but I think I'd rather have something more structured. It'll be simpler to grocery shop, right? Just to make the same online orders every week, and then it's like calorie counting too becomes a little bit more difficult when you're cooking stuff, putting multiple ingredient dishes So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna migrate to. But I think like, I think there's like 3 levels of basically like the tracking the calories or a diet. One of them is where you just like follow a diet where it's like, okay, I'm eating low carb, I'm doing OMAD, right?
I've been eating low carb, and so that's I just like all these foods are out, right? And I don't even think about it anymore.
And I think just eating a diet like that has some kind of restrictions on it will get you like, it'll get you on the first third of the difficulty. Like, so maybe like if you're above, let's say 20% body fat or, around that range, like if you're above 15% body fat, that can get you down to 15% body fat. I think just doing nothing besides just walking and doing whatever it is. If you do OMAD, if you do low cut, just something that restricts the foods that you eat, so that you're basically avoiding sugar. That like all diets avoid sugar. So the second level I think is doing like the if it fits your macro, like tracking calories, right? Like you can't, it's really, really difficult to get below 15% body fat without tracking calories, because as you lose weight, your body wants to compensate, and like your normal hunger is going to try to make you compensate. Even if you're on a strict diet, it's just not going to work. So I think
tracking macros for me never really worked. And the reason is because I do it for a week and then I just forget.
Yeah, you just got to be religious every day. I mean, but that's what it takes to get. And then I think getting below 10%, I mean, you can do it. Like I said, I'm probably, I don't know, 8-ish, 9-ish% right now. But to really get down there, you can't just track macros. You have to make the macros and just have the exact same foods that you eat every day, because at that level of specificity,
specificity.
That's it. Specificity. That's should be like I think I'm gonna make a Broadway musical, and that's the song is gonna be called Specificity. Specificity. All right.
Specificity.
Specificity. All right.
Well, we better stop before John's IQ drops.
Yeah,
I know.
So I think like to get it like to that point, like, well, because the calories are so, it's not accurate, right? Like anything you track is not truly accurate. Like you walk for 5 miles, you don't really know how many calories it burns.
Right.
It's an estimate. And if you eat something, you don't have the exact. So if you eat the same foods every day, then if you're gaining weight, you can reduce that the amount of those same foods. And if you're losing weight, you can adjust. So that's why I think that's what it takes to get to those various levels. But
what I am jealous of is that Chuck's been going to the barber throughout the pandemic while I'm stuck with this damn hair.
Yeah, well, my barber is, I pull out I have a hair clipper. We use it for my sons. And so I just take the guard off and then just cut everything off. And then I go get the razor in the shower and then it all goes away. So if you self-barber, then you don't have to wear a mask and you don't have to go into a barbershop.
Oh my God, I can't live with this hair anymore.
Just go find some renegade barber. I'm sure there's one that's operating.
There's plenty of barbers operating right now, not renegade. They're running their shops in the open with 0 social distancing.
Yeah, well, go in there and get your hair cut. Go wear one of those shoulder masks or whatever.
Did you see the new visor that's on Indiegogo?
I haven't looked at it yet.
It's a total, like it goes all the way up to your chest, like from here to your chest. It's like Martian spacesuit all the way up to your chest. Has a battery-powered air supply system.
You know what? I just want to get one of those bags they have in the produce section at the store, and I'll just pull it over my head.
Yeah. That's the Utah style.
That's a great idea, isn't it?
That's the Utah way to do it.
Oh my gosh, I see this. This thing is ridiculous. Who would wear this? I would never wear this.
I would wear this shit. Totally.
I would never wear this.
Then it's like I can go anywhere where you can't go. I could go. I could
go anywhere. There's nowhere I'm restricted from going right now that I'm not going.
Like
I guess
go to
Walmart
the gym.
just announced that you have to wear a mask in there starting Monday. or at least the one here did.
Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walmart and Target are going nationwide with that.
Yeah, Walmart is the place where I would wear a mask even if there wasn't COVID. Though. It's too easy to get bodily fluid sprayed on you in Walmart. It's just,
Oh wow. We went there, did we? Oh man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Business.
Hey, all right. So check this out. Let me share my screen. All right. See this, Manny? Look at all these. I created different ad sets.
Facebook?
Yep. Now they're not running. I don't see any run. Yeah, hopefully these will start running today, but I have lookalike buyers, membership buyers. I've got lookalike list subscribers. I've got people that have been pixeled from the website.
Good. Yeah.
I've got Instagram visitors in last year, and then I just made a specific target of 20 to 50-year-olds that had interests that intersect of dating, sex, and masculinity. So
nice.
Yeah, so we'll see how these go.
Even more precise on the date range, on the age range.
I already narrowed this way down. Like, I don't know if it shows what the what the total. Is there a way to see what the audience is like at that? But anyway, it's a pretty narrow set. I didn't want to go any more narrow than that. Like, it's here. This is what it shows. Let's see if it shows the. So it's 20,000 people. Look, see, it's only 20,000 people at this point.
Who are your interest group? Let's take a look. What's the interest group?
It is 20 to 50 men interested who match dating and must also match masculinity. Oh, that's weird. They took out the other the sex one that was in there. That's weird. It gave me the option and then they took it out. They're like, oh yeah, no, that was just a red herring. That was just we're just trying to trick you. So but there's only 20,000 people in that audience.
It's a very interesting targeting. I would think you would get much better targeting. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, let's make a copy of this campaign. You don't have to go live with it, but let's try another campaign.
Okay.
Or not another campaign, but another ad set where you can do a little more targeting. Just make a copy of the ad set that you had previously. One of those.
Do copy the master one. I don't understand what the difference is with this test thing. I guess these, yeah, I guess it
I wouldn't worry about it right now. Later, you can mess around with it once you have some better data. Early on, it does it.
So here's a duplicate. All right. So what do you want to do with this one?
We'll change the name once we figure out the audience. So go down to the audience.
Okay. Audience.
And I don't know why you set the campaign objective as purchase, because right now, yeah, maybe that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I want to optimize for purchases once.
Okay. So men.
Okay. Men age.
Whatever you want. I would say 21 to 30 would be good. Let's say.
I mean, I know my audience has a lot of people that are. I'd say 21. Like 35 is probably.
Yeah, actually, the ideal, the perfect audience. Yeah, so 21 to 40, let's say.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go to more options. Show more options. Detailed targeting. Click on that.
Yeah, that's
up there.
Yeah.
Edits. Okay, let's do Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins page. Oh, let's see. This is 20 million. This is 290.
Doesn't matter. It will filter down pretty quickly.
Yeah, it'll filter down on your other stuff.
No, I know, but we don't want to select something that only has 290 or something that has 86, right? We want to select something that has 20 million.
The real one, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So we've got 2.6 million right now. That's weird.
Yeah.
How could that be 2.6 million when it's got something that's
I'm not surprised. It's actually that big.
Maybe it was just showing you the filtered when it.
Maybe.
Now you can add more people. Let's say you can
Well, we don't want to add more people. I'm excluding. What I did to this is I said narrow audience. So you can add more to this. This will be a or. This is going to be an and.
You can do whichever one you want.
Well, we want to narrow it down, right?
There's quite a lot of people you can target in this. Let's say
we want to say of the 2.6 million men 21 to 40 who like Tony Robbins, we want to,
and also like,
yeah, stoicism is it. Let's see.
That's gonna be difficult.
Stoic. The banners.
No.
There's no we could say philosophy.
No, that's way too broad.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just
too broad.
too general. So let's say
You could do like Ryan Holiday or the obstacle is the way or something like that.
This is why I said like masculinity is a good one. It has 18 million, right? That's the closest to my. Oh, here's one that's real simple to do, right? Because we know that the demographics here, like, let me see here. Behaviors. Let's look at. I'm looking for politics US. Okay, likely to be conservative, possibly moderate, but my audience is going to be mostly conservative, right? Because that's going to exclude any guys that are like for women's rights and feminism and all
that
that.
Narrowed it down.
Yeah, so that's only 320,000 people. So that might be actually a good enough size, unless you want to narrow it further.
Well, it's up to you. If you're optimizing for purchase, then I would narrow it then I would be very precise with the audience selection. If you're optimizing for video views,
then I wouldn't put Tony Robbins here.
Okay,
although I guess that's personal development, right?
You can try Jordan Peterson.
I made videos that are like kind of anti Jordan Peterson,
but still that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like people who like
but
Jordan
his audience may still cross over.
Yeah, it's all about the audience. You can actually do a Jordan Peterson and say Jordan Peterson sucks.
Okay, but you don't have to. I don't have to specify conservative if I do Jordan Peterson. Oh, they won't even let you target Jordan Peterson.
Because he.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jordan P. Peterson.
You can try other people like Tom Bilyeu or like all sorts of.
Tom Bilyeu would be a good one, but I doubt he's big enough.
On Facebook, yeah.
I mean, we could do the Tony. I mean, the Tony Robbins not.
Tony Robbins is definitely your crowd because it's personal development. It's very close to what you do.
Okay, so we're at like 320,000 people. I mean, we could narrow it further, and that's why I said like something like dating, fitness, whatever. Like the message there is on men. I mean, there's probably even like men's fitness would probably work there.
You can also target magazines, like Men's Fitness magazine would be a great one.
There you go.
Men's Health.
Yeah. Well, that's what this is. This is Men's Fitness magazine, I'm pretty sure. Or it might just be Men's Fitness, but
it could just be the topic.
If I do this, then we're at 110,000 people.
Yeah, but you got to be a little more strategic about how you're picking this. So maybe you go after a fitness niche. Then you go after a masculine, like you can set up your ad sets such that they're going after different sets of people and niches. So you're doing the right kind of testing, because otherwise you're doing a very complicated test with the data would be very hard to figure out. So you want a simple test like, okay, Tony Robbins, masculinity, Rollo Tomassi, or whatever.
So you're saying more broad then, like, or am I trying to?
If you're doing Tony Robbins, you can do Tony Robbins intersection with masculinity, or Tony Robbins intersection with fitness, and that would give you or Tony Robbins intersection with conservative, and it would give you 3 different sets of audiences that you can like potentially target.
Oh, out of the Tony Robbins, rather than too many variables in the equation.
Yeah, because then you don't really you're making the water very muddy for you to even be able to
know which element was important.
Yep, exactly. You want to be able to isolate what's working and go hard on it.
Yeah, I mean, this one's a good test. We could
Alpha
try.
M would be another one.
Yeah, let me see. I don't think he's going to show up on here.
The alpha male, what is that?
It's got 90,000 people who have expressed interest in our like page related to the alpha male. That's That would actually be pretty good. So it's only 1,000 people though. Yeah.
Because you're intersecting with Tony, right?
Yeah.
No, you would do a separate audience just for the alpha male.
Yeah. I mean, I could take Tony Robbins out.
I'm curious to see what it does if you do.
Okay, if I take Tony Robbins out, then we've still got, it says
fewer
potential
than 1,000.
Yeah.
No, you still have the conservative thing there.
Oh,
well, that's going to be, no one subscribed to this isn't already going to be in this group, but I guess there's some 2,900 people. So I could just target this. This is a
target it for a while until it drops off.
Yeah, because it's not going to be
much.
At
some point you'll tap it out.
Yeah. Well, let's try this. This is a good. Okay.
At least I would assume that it's going to drop off after.
All right. Spending all my money. All right. Let's see what happens here. They have to approve the. It's weird that they have to approve it when it's just targeting.
Who go after? Oh yeah, for sure. Part of the Cambridge Analytica was targeting issues. You can go for men.
Can you get turned down for just having a targeting? Like.
Yeah, you cannot have a specific set of messaging to
who?
Who may or may not be. Like you cannot show a specific kind of ad. There's always like a set that they will say on this.
I don't know what he's trying to say.
I don't know either. It's breaking up.
Okay.
But you know the kind of trouble that saying targeting got Sarah Palin in, so be careful.
No, I don't. What targeting?
Oh, she said that they were targeting districts in the election in 2000, whenever she was the VP candidate, 2008.
With Facebook ads?
No, she was just saying that they were targeting, their campaign was targeting districts, and they turned that around and said that she meant targeting with guns.
Oh.
Which was stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wrong with targeting districts. Yeah, I can't imagine what kind of targeting that you would do that Facebook wouldn't approve though. Like if your ad is approved.
Yeah, if they let you do it. I know that they're restrictive on the kind of language you can put on it, right? So you can't do like you're gonna 10x your income or something kind of things on it. But
the ad's always been approved.
For example, I had an ad that said, "I'm really disappointed that people that Netflix had its best quarter ever." In the middle of this freaking pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And then if I decide to show it to people who like Netflix or people who are like somewhat Netflix fans or followers or something like that, I think there is some conflict of interest there where Netflix is Netflix as a company may not like the fact that Facebook is showing ads that are anti-Netflix to Netflix audience.
Yeah, but that's none of their business because that's just an interest group, right? It's like
it's none of their business until it is their business, and they can choose to say no, we don't want people to mess with their partners.
I could see Facebook saying
you can create an ad.
If you're creating a political ad, would you not target the people that are in support of your political opponent for a smear campaign?
Yeah, I think that.
So do they allow smear campaigns?
I think what I would.
Yeah, every political campaign is a smear campaign.
Yeah, but I can see them turning it down if you're putting something up that has a brand name that you don't own or something. As long as they enforce it equally across everybody, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying
Tony Robbins is stupid, blah blah blah, and it's showing up on Tony Robbins' page every day. He's going to be like, what kind of freaking ad network are we working with?
Yeah, I guess so. It would be weird. They couldn't really reject an ad because someone wouldn't like the message, though. That's
but they can put a policy together and
the ad itself, but not based on the targeting.
Yeah,
the targeting should have nothing to do with it. I can't imagine the targeting have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Maybe they just aren't sophisticated enough to like check the like that there's a copy difference is what I would guess, because
I don't know.
Who knows?
Well, come on. That's not really, they are sophisticated enough to notice the difference in ad. That's already in the, that's already like, you didn't change the ad. We know that. You only changed the targeting.
Yeah, but how could I change the targeting in such a way that they would have rejected it but accepted the other ads? That's what I'm saying. No change to the ad.
I've never seen them do that. I've seen them reject ads for content, but yeah, I've never seen them.
I can't imagine anything that I would do, right? Like, was there anything I could put in that targeting that they'd be like, oh yeah, no, you're not doing this. Like, if there were, then they would have.
Your ads may not precisely be like that, but there are ads that could be in that domain where they are anti something. No, it's just like you are creating ads that stand against something, and the business is advertising for it, and Facebook becomes the shit show center than a place for people to hang out.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, the worst possible one of that like combination that I could see is a political campaign targeting your political opponent. Like
I would like
followers.
to see. I am not sure if smear campaigns are allowed on Facebook.
Yeah, smear campaigns are allowed. They don't fact check political campaigns.
Yeah, but calling someone else out is different from saying whatever you want to say about what's good with you.
Yeah, and you're operating as a business, not a political campaign, so they may have different rules for you.
Yeah, Facebook it is what it is. Apparently,
well, you should boycott them like Coca-Cola.
If you say anything against China anywhere, and if you are flying through Hong Kong, they can now arrest you. So careful, don't fly Cathay Pacific anymore. In case you guys didn't know, this is not the time to fly on Cathay Pacific to Fiji or to Tahiti or to French Polynesia. If any of you guys were planning vacations there.
Why?
Because Cathay, if you are saying anything against China, China can arrest you in Hong Kong.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah.
There's the new law that just passed that if you say anything against China and they find it, they can arrest you in Hong Kong when you're going through the immigration process or when you're changing flights or whatever.
Interesting.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Well,
Hong
Kong,
yeah.
Well, Hong Kong is not independent anymore.
So... Yeah, but wouldn't it create more of an international incident if they just pick up some American citizen in the airport and say, come with us?
Well, with the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if that's next.
Yeah.
And it might be a good thing. I think China needs some of this.
What's that you're saying about China? What's that? China needs some what? Some of
because if I ever
can you be more
if
specific?
I ever have to fly through. Are you trying to run a smear campaign against China?
I'm going to wear a free Hong Kong t-shirt through the airport.
Remember, John, you're running on a Huawei Wi-Fi router, just FYI. So Xi Jinping is already listening to everything you're saying.
Yeah, he's been watching John for a while. All right, so at the risk of getting back to business here, so you're advertising people to go to where, John? Like, where does your ad take them?
It's taking them to, let's see. The ad is taking them to the $7 trial membership sign-up page. Okay. So it's a video ad, and it's got text as well. But yeah.
Have you been running it already on those other segments?
Just on the one segment, just a very, very broad targeting.
Which is just by age and gender?
Yep. And that one I've gotten 72 clicks, about $1.10 cost per click, but no purchases yet. So
okay. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious. How many people have actually seen it?
The reach is 7,378.
Okay. Yeah, once you get about 1,000 people to click on it, so you're getting about a 10% click. No, 1% click. You're getting 1% click.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'd play with the
Let's take a
headline
look
and
at your
stuff there and
campaign.
see if you can.
That's the click on the actual like link. It's not the click on the ad. The click on the ad is much higher. So yeah, okay.
What's the click on the ad?
Here. So if we take a look at what we want to do is performance and clicks. Okay. So 72 link clicks, $1.10. Click-through rate is 0.74%. All clicks is 299. So the click-through rate for all clicks on the ad is 3%, 27 cents per click.
All right. So yeah, I'm just wondering if there are things you can tweak on the headline or the ad that'll get those numbers to go up.
Yeah, potentially.
Video percentage watched 1.78%. Okay.
So half the people that click on it wind up watching the whole video.
Let's see. It's video plays at 100%. There's 15.
What do you mean half?
95% is 19.
Because 3% of the people clicked on it and 1.7% of them actually watched it. So roughly half of the clicks on the ad where it opens up and starts playing the video, half those people wind up watching the whole video. Or at least having it play all the way through.
That's just...
Well,
you can see the numbers there.
Yeah.
Competitors played to completion for at least 15 seconds. That's a big difference. Play to completion or at least 15 seconds.
Oh yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Out of your 15-minute video.
Yeah. How long did you watch the video? Did you watch the whole thing? Yeah, basically. Well, how long did you watch it?
Yeah, I did a through play.
Yeah.
It was a
17 seconds. And then I scrolled.
Yeah.
It was a through play. Through play. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see when some of these ones start actually doing some. Yeah. I'll have a better idea tomorrow what it looks like.
Yeah, but you do have some opportunity. How long have you been running that one?
About a week, I think.
Okay.
So,
yeah, give it another week, and then I'd start tweaking headline or.
Yeah, I mean it's $10 a day. Yeah, so it's I'm not getting a lot of exposure. So.
Yeah, but the exposure you're getting isn't converting very highly, and so there may be ways you can tweak it to get better throughput. And if you have a place where you can play with it at a lower cost, and then get it in front of the people you really want it in front of.
Yeah, I just need enough data. That's what I'm saying. It's like.
Yeah, I agree.
What happens too is that, when you have a broader ads like targeting, Facebook will automatically start matching based on the conversion goal. So the problem is I don't have any conversions yet, but once it starts to get the data, then it can target better. But you need to get some conversion data in there.
Yeah.
And that's why broad targeting is dangerous, because then the conversions can take a long ass time to get any realistic, especially purchase conversions compared to video view conversions, which can be much quicker to get. And then you can retarget those for like down the funnel sales, videos, etc.
Yeah.
Yep.
But with your when you're trying to optimize for purchase, when your conversion event is a purchase and you have very broad targeting, now we just don't know how long it will take Facebook to find that.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Because we're almost running it like Coke or Pepsi. So men within this age group, it's just too broad for Facebook to be able to.
That's true. You could get better conversion numbers as far as clicks and click-throughs with a more targeted audience. So that may be your problem.
Yeah, we'll see what happens now. I've got all these tests in place for all the different targeting. So I'll know pretty quickly.
Yeah, and Facebook's smart enough to
do a Tony Robbins test, a CrossFit test.
Yeah.
Like CrossFit would be another community you can go after. Like these are all
weightlifting.
Yeah. CrossFit
some
is
of
a
the
very developmental kind of stuff, place.
Yeah, you could hit some of the subcategories of fitness or diet. If they're a fan of keto or paleo or some of the personalities out there. Yeah.
Or V-shreds.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
this is all like I think keeps it's in some there's some spreadsheet it makes you like basically list out all these different people that you could target, like people, magazines, websites.
Yeah, I've been doing this.
Channel,
so I've been going
these.
through Russell Brunson's training, and he has you do the Dream 100, and so it's you pick all the topics around what you're doing, right? And then what you do is you go out and you find all the most popular podcasts, all the most popular YouTube channels, most popular. I have the list. Authors.
Yeah.
And then you Facebook influencers, Instagram accounts.
Yep.
But then what you do is, then you can target them on the ads. He also advocates doing something like a summit funnel. So you could do a Bulldog Mindset Summit and just do a free summit. And then it's, you can pay the $97 or $197 for the full access, where you get access to the chat channel and the videos afterward and the whole 9 yards. And then you just put that together and you drive people into the summit, right? So then you turn around and you say, then your ad out there is, come hear from the top brands in, being a man or something. You could do the Be a Man Summit.
So I don't know. I would definitely make a spreadsheet of all these different people.
And then you could target them on Facebook too.
In different niches, like fitness niche, dating niche, wealth niche, all these different people. Like Kezia Noble, right? Definitely someone to target. Find men interested in Kezia Noble. Well, that's probably a very big set of men. May not be the right audience.
Well, it's too small. Yeah, I mean, she's not gonna have enough of a audience on Facebook.
You never know, man. Like some people have been hustling on Facebook for a while, so they might have actually a pretty big audience.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
so,
but no, what makes sense is what I'm thinking about now is like having broad audience targeting buckets and running those tests and then seeing which one of those buckets perform the best, and then out of that bucket, then subdividing that bucket again, right? And then testing those and seeing which perform the best.
Yes and no, because you're still trying to go from broad to narrow. What I'm saying is you almost need to go a little narrow and then start building it up. You almost need that Tony Robbins plus masculinity, have that audience size of 200,000, 250,000 to really be able to hone in on that message and try like Tony Robbins and CrossFit, or Tony Robbins and dating advice or something. Because Tony Robbins is the ideal. Like I don't think you can get any better than a group. Like if I were to put you in a room of people, there isn't a better audience you could get than in a room of people who are going to UPW, right? That's Tony Robbins at his best.
UPW.
That's his. Yeah, that's his audience. If you could tap into that audience, you would basically be able to get a lot out of it.
Yeah. Here, let me show you what I'm doing on the. Can I share my screen?
No, you cannot.
Hold on. Let me turn it on. I need to set the default on this. Okay. There you go. Okay, you can share.
All right. So this is what I've been doing. Like I said, I've been going through some of Russell Brunson's stuff, and he tells us to find your Dream 100. So this is, I'm working on a podcast sponsorship playbook just because I feel like I can sell more sponsorships if I'm seen as an expert in podcast sponsorships instead of just a podcast guy trying to sell ads.
Right.
And so I'm going to keep reaching out to people, but I'm also going to start putting out content and letting the folks that I'm reaching out to know about it. So I picked all these areas that occur around podcast sponsorship. So these are not my direct competitors. These are the people, like, they might be buying Facebook ads, to try and get traffic, and so they may also want podcast sponsorship traffic, right?
Yeah.
Or people who are funnel hackers. It's like, how do I get people in the funnel? Well, you sponsor a podcast and have them send traffic to your funnel, right? And so he tells you to pick the areas around it. And then I just started going through Facebook. And so this is a Facebook Ads Rockstars group, right?
Oh, I see.
And so this is the link to the group. And then they actually had an offer on the group, right? And so I clicked through it, and I got the link, and I put it in here. And then I actually went and got on their list. And then I set up a filter in Gmail to just put it into, Russell says to put it into essentially a swipe file folder. And I've got it all broken out by who it is and what category they fall into. And that way I can go look at their marketing, right? Because their marketing may be working for them. And so it may work for me in my niche, even though I'm not directly competing with them.
Right.
But yeah, so I basically found these groups, right? And so there's a webinar. This is the guy that's in charge of it, right? And so anyway, so I've got the this information that I'm pulling together on it, and then I could go back and I could target these groups, right, with my Facebook ads. Podcasts, the same level, same deal, right? So and I went and subscribed to the podcasts, and that way I can go and look and see what they're talking about. I may reach out to them and say, hey, do you want me to come on and talk about how podcast ad or podcast sponsorship can help increase your Facebook ad throughput, right? Because you get a little bit more time to frame the story.
Chuck, let me ask.
Yeah.
I think you said something that I totally missed. Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, why are you trying to go after this set of audience? Because this is a very Facebook ad / agency kind of audience. Why are you trying to go after their audiences or this group? I really need to, like, I'm trying to understand what's the end game is.
The correlation is with these groups is that they are people who may also be interested in Facebook sponsor or podcast sponsorship, right? If I go find the people who are already looking into podcast sponsorship, then I have to go fight with whoever they're listening to or paying attention to already to try and get their attention. And if I go after these folks, then I may be able to get new faces into the
What's the end game? What's the end game?
Right now, I'm just doing what Russell says.
No. I get it. But what's your end game in terms of what are you trying to sell?
So sponsorships, honestly, podcast sponsorships. So what I'm going to do is if I start working
let me finish that train of thought. Podcast sponsorship to your podcast or teaching people how to do podcasts, get podcast sponsorships?
Both. But if I can cross promote between this and tech companies, then I can get them to my sponsorships. And so I'm hoping that I can, find that cross section. And then for the others, I can at least, I'm planning on putting together materials for my sponsors that say, hey, this is what we're going to do, so either I can do it for you or you can do it. But for those that aren't in my market, I may be able to sell them just basically those same materials that I'm making for my sponsors. But my main focus.
So I'm still trying to understand how this will help you sell more sponsorships for dev chats.
Okay, I got it here. All right, so think of it this way. So he's got these. Let's take just the Facebook group, right? Facebook ads. So he's got these Facebook ad groups, right, on Facebook. The people who are in those groups are interested in running Facebook ads. So they're media buyers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he's going to target media buyers. if he runs ads to media buyers and then he intersects that with technology, right? Then those people.
What do you mean intersects that with technology? What does that intersection entail?
So any media buyers that work for tech companies, right? Because that's what his ideal podcast sponsorship target is. And so if he has all these groups and all these targeting that are people who are essentially media buyers, he's finding them through these if they're likely to buy Facebook ads, they're also likely to be media buyers in general. They're going to want to advertise on other platforms. So that's the whole idea, is to figure out exactly where are these people that
man, I mean, that's way off a very long, like, okay, so if I'm looking at it, and I'm sorry to be the one pouring any water on this planning, and not that it matters, not that my water matters, but still, that's just like such a long way to grab your nose, because all you really are looking for are people who are interested, like people at specific kinds of companies who are doing marketing for them. You're looking for marketing director, manager, etc. at those places. So you could easily target them on LinkedIn, just going after marketing quote unquote managers. Why would you go after media buyers and try to hope to get them to convert to buying podcast sponsorships? That's just, I don't think that's a straightforward way to getting the result that you're wanting. You're doing what Russell's telling you to do, but in the process, you're complicating the hell out of your life rather than going very straightforward to the source directly.
Well, I agree about going to the source directly, but
and we're already doing that.
But yeah, and it's hard to do that. That's the problem, is that it's not like you can just call up a company and be like, "Hey, put me in touch with your main marketing."
But that's where
person.
Okay, so that's where we had, like, you were building that machine, the email marketing system, the automation, the outreach campaigns, all that stuff. And I feel like this is a distraction. I don't think this is the straightforward path. I think this is the distraction. I think Russell Brunson's got you massively distracted on okay, so from what I can see, and with the conversations we've had over the last few weeks, you're going to hate me for saying this, but I feel
no,
like
I appreciate you sharing your opinion.
You're welcome. Thank you. So I'm going to say that I think with the challenge, the one funnel away challenge, Russell is a great marketer, but unfortunately, I feel like what has happened is that you have bought into the idea that the funnel is the solution to your problem, though what was already working for you was a pretty darn good solution to your problem. You just had to clean it up and make it better and make it much more consistent, more repeatable. Because what you've done is you had a bridge that you had built, you had a system that you had built, you had optimized it to a certain level, and then you said, oh, this is not good enough, let me go find another thing to make this whole damn thing work. And I think this is such a long shot, in the sense that this is so much work compared to what you had already built. You already have a system in place, you already had so many things you had figured out, and now you're starting
but
from
that
scratch,
system hasn't been working for the last 3 or 4 months.
Well, have you been putting stuff into it?
Yes.
And there's more to it, Chuck. Just because the system isn't working doesn't mean that the system, like, just because you're not getting the result doesn't mean that system is not working. It could be so many other parts of the machine that don't work. So just because that system is not working doesn't mean that a new marketing system will make it work.
No,
because
that's fair.
that system has a lot of different components. Marketing is just one of the many components of that system. What you are trying to tell me is that you're going to change the front end of that system. You're going to change the marketing of that system and make it work. And my thinking right now is that it's not the marketing of the system that was broken anyways. It might be something else that you need to fix, but not the marketing of it. like reaching out on LinkedIn, on email, getting them to open your emails and getting them to read your emails and respond, like those conversions that you're getting, trying to go cold like this and trying to get those conversions on this set, it's going to be hell compared to what you were already getting there.
Yeah, I hear you, like, but the thing is I'm already working on those other systems. But well, I want to see if I could start having people come in on their own too. Right?
You're building too many systems. You need to build one system and make it work rather than try to build 5 different systems and try to make all of them work.
Yeah, but the problem is that the other system, I'm continuing to put effort and time into it and tweaking it and working on it and getting people into it, but it is not working. Well, it's not working. Then the question, I'm going to continue to push it along. I'm going to continue to tweak it, but I've got to find another way to make it work.
But the question if it's not going to work. I get it. So the question then is it because the marketing of that system is not working? Is it because tech companies are not doing podcast sponsorships as aggressively right now? Is it because sponsorships in general are down because podcast listenership is down? Because there's a lot of different variables.
Yeah, that's all fair. But if it's down because podcast listenership is down or because companies aren't spending as much money on it, those two things are outside my control.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you start building another system to do the same for which you haven't identified a problem yet. So in many ways, you need to identify what the core problem is before trying to build a system, you're assuming a problem. And I'm saying that assumption of problem might be dangerous. You're solving a problem that we don't know exists. You're solving a marketing problem, and not every problem is a marketing problem. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Maybe in many words, I kind of am finally at this clarity of thinking that not every problem is a marketing problem, and not every solution needs to be a marketing solution. Because your marketing was good enough as it was.
Yeah, I'm planning on going back to that this next week and really hitting it hard. And I have been continually trying to see if I can make it perform better. But yeah, that said, I was actually showing this to John just so that he could get an idea of how he could target his Facebook stuff. But
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to make you feel bad about this.
No, I don't.
Get this off my,
but
I had to get this off my chest.
No, it's fair. And yeah, I mean, if I can get the other system to work, I'm going to spend a lot more time on that. But
so this goes back to my conversation with John this morning. Remember, John, we were talking about trying to figure out what works.
Yeah.
Versus trying to make it work.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so hard to tell sometimes in business, like which of these paths you need to take, like trying to make something work versus trying to figure out what's to work. But knowing that you've already made that system work for the last 5 years, I have faith that you will, like, if anything, there's something else that's broken and not the marketing itself.
Okay.
Because you've already fine-tuned the damn thing for so long that I can't believe that what you had figured out in 5 years is now obsolete. And suddenly this is the answer to what you're trying to do. You've already figured that out. You've already gotten quite a lot of ways with that. You've already made hundreds of thousands of dollars every year doing that.
I'm not sure that that's exactly true, because the system, I mean, how did you get most of your sponsorships, Chuck? Like, what is the source of most of your sponsorships like in the past 5 years? I think I know what the answer is, but
there are two main sources. Do you want to guess? Go ahead, guess.
Yeah, I would guess the main one would be by referral. And then
basically they would come to me. Yep. They would come, they would click on the sponsorship page, they would get the information they wanted, and then they'd schedule a time to talk.
Yeah. And then I would guess that the second one would be reaching out to companies that are either obvious or that you've seen on other podcasts.
Yeah. So half of them were companies that came to me.
Yeah.
The other half, that's probably not fair. It's probably closer to a third, maybe a little bit more, came to me. Another third or so. And if you do it by dollar amount, then it's like 65% of them came to me.
Right.
Just because if they came to me, they've already checked me out. They'd already basically made their decision. They just need to talk to me and basically make me feel good about buying it.
Right.
The other ones, at least last year, a lot of them came from conferences, because I went to so many conferences, talked to so many companies in person.
Right.
And networked my way to their marketing director, who about 75% of the time was at the booth.
Right.
Right. And so, and that's just not happening this year at all. And then a bunch of the rest, yeah, I'd target them, I'd reach out to them, and then they'd come back and they'd say, yeah, I'd like to sponsor. But usually if I do that, those folks will sponsor for like 4 to 6 weeks, and then I never hear from them again, even if I reach out to them to renew.
From the booth sponsors, because they're just trying it out.
No, so from people that I emailed.
Oh, from you email. Okay.
So the best form of sponsors are like the referrals.
Yeah, yes. So that's why I'm saying, Manny, that the system is not, his original system is not proven yet. It hasn't been, because he hasn't really been using it. Like a lot of it's just been coming from referrals and talking to people. There hasn't been a concerted effort really to acquire sponsorships from cold audience, essentially from cold leads. So, but you know, at the beginning of this year, Chuck started putting that system together, and with some success, you know, earlier before everything hit the fan. But I think the system is still good, and it still needs to be developed.
Yeah,
further.
I agree, but I'm also trying to get something else out there so that I can get people to invest emotionally, and then, you know, come to the page, check us out, and then schedule a sales call.
You know, it might be the best thing you could possibly do right now is to go to your existing sponsors, your best sponsors right now, and even some of the ones that like quit sponsoring you but were on pretty good terms with you, and send them an email and say, hey, you know, I'm looking to get more to fill up some sponsorship slots. You know, who do you know in the marketing space? Like,
exactly.
You know, because they're going to have good referrals for you. Because in fact, like just now, this one, I got this good sponsorship for 20 grand, just on Simple Programmer. And the person emailed me and she's like, oh, I worked with someone at this other company that did sponsorships with you, and they said that you're really good for sponsorships. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably your best source, because that's your best source that you've had so far historically. So just reach out, because those marketing people, like, you know, they are friends and they go to conferences with other marketing people, and they know other.
That's your dream 100.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, if I can figure out, for example, what conferences or what, you know, where are you interacting with these other people? Then I can go to those places and I can be there.
Not even just going to those places, but asking
them.
But
I can get them to refer their friends.
Get them referred. Yeah. That's your dream 100. If you make a list of the 100, 200 best possible you could have, and start figuring out ways to connect with them, that's the way to go. Because you're
100 to 200 best sponsors, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your dream 100, your dream 200.
Yeah.
And then you can literally apply. So dream 100 actually, so Russell Brunson's newest book, Traffic Secrets. I don't know if you guys have read it. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Got 2
Chuck's
copies.
Probably pulling out a copy of it out there.
I apparently ordered 2 copies. I apparently pre-ordered it twice, because I've got 2.
I did that too, actually. I have another copy over here.
Because you're such a fan of Russell.
I was like, I did that twice. Oops.
Yeah.
One of the things he talks about is the idea that the dream 100, his dream 100 is like going after the 100 best clients, and then just constantly figuring out ways to connect with them and talk. What he learned that from Chet Holmes.
Chet Holmes,
right? Yeah.
Chet Holmes of the Ultimate Selling Machine. But the way Chet did was he was working for Charlie Munger, and this is very applicable to what we're talking about right now, because I think this is, you are exactly Chet Holmes. You're exactly in Chet Holmes' situation.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Munger, he had a magazine. He wanted to fill the advertising slots in that magazine, right?
Yeah.
And he just could not get anyone to do it. So he had this list of 100 best clients who could have filled advertising spots, and they just wouldn't respond to him. So every week he would reach out to them, call them. Every 2 weeks he would send them a mail.
Yeah.
And he did that repeatedly to all those 100 Dream 100 clients for a period of 3 months or 4 months before one of them turned around, for 2 of them turned around. What he found was there was actually a very small subset of Dream 100 who were doing most of the media buying anyways in the magazines. And then he just kept on going after that, kept on going after them with pig-headed discipline, as he calls PhD. And in a period of 2 years, they went from like having zero, like very little sales in that magazine to becoming one of the highest grossing sponsored magazines for Charlie Munger. And that's all Dream 100 plus PhD. But there's huge power. Like, so the disparity here that I really kind of want to talk about in a broader sense, not just for what Chuck is going through, but in general in business, is that you don't want to solve $10,000, $20,000 problems with marketing tools that are designed for selling $100, $200 products. What I mean is there are specific, like when you're selling very specific kinds of solutions, you're going for a very specific kind of audience. And that's when the mass marketing angles don't really work as well. That's when you're doing niche marketing. And niche marketing is very different from mass marketing, right? Facebook advertising to the level that Russell is doing, to the level that Russell Brunson or even John or even myself, our products are very mass markets.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the other hand, you are on a very niche audience. You're trying to reach 100, 200, maybe 1,000, 2,000 companies at best. And if you can find those to pay you $10,000, $20,000 each, that's your business, right?
Yeah.
So trying to use those tools of marketing for your kind of business, I'm just not convinced is the strategy.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have a soda can sitting on your fence, I guess, and you're like, damn, how am I going to get rid of the soda can from my fence? Well, so you buy a gun and you start doing target practice, and you're like, all right, I just got to go through like 40 hours worth of target practice, and then you're like, then I can shoot the soda can off of my fence. So, yeah.
No, I like that. And I think there are probably some companies out there that I've either had sponsor in the past. See, the other thing that happens, just to give a little bit of context, is that I'll have companies sponsor for a while and then they'll hire a different marketing person, right? Our marketing's not working. Get rid of the current CMO, hire a new CMO. New CMO comes in and they say, we're scrapping everything the other guy was doing, including your podcast sponsorship.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of times because old CMO was doing it, it's hard for me to convince them because they're already emotionally invested in changing everything up, improving themselves to get them to renew and try it anyway. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have some thought on.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I think you're right. I think what I need to do is just sit down and say, okay, and do the same thing I'm doing here, except the categories might be hosting companies and continuous learning companies for developers, and and just find all those categories and then basically put all those into my Dream 100, and then just go after them and see who I can get to come on board, and just continue to reach out to them until they come on board. Now, if they tell me to bugger off, do I have to bugger off?
No, not really.
It's up to you.
I guess they could just mark my emails as spam, right?
You can do Chet Holmes.
Well, how is someone going to tell you to bugger off? Like, what are they going to say? Well, they could
tell me stop emailing me or stop calling me or whatever.
I mean, but so okay. So work backwards from that. What kind of email are you going to send them that's going to cause them to say that?
Tell them that? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you're sending personalized emails, that's not going to happen.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on if you're targeting a top. your 100, your
and
dream
you should
list.
let them opt out. You should let them opt out. In fact,
Yeah.
you should be like, if you don't want me to talk to you about it, that's fine. Just let me know. I won't reach out to you again about it. It's. I think there's plenty of fish in the pond, so we have to worry about someone that's
fair
like,
enough.
I'm just not interested. But to your point of like people who like do some stuff with you and then come back and not do it again, I think that's a problem with your retention funnel. So your sales funnel does what it does. But
I
the
don't have a
retention
retention funnel. The retention funnel is,
exactly.
hey, do you want to re-up? Here's your invoice.
Exactly. That's not a retention funnel. What you need is to talk to them, maybe hold a webinar with your sponsors every few weeks or something to talk about these are the ways in which you can maximize your podcasting opportunities and something. These are the ways in which you should be able to use podcast sponsorships. We can have one of your engineers come and talk about your technology on our podcast, or we can have your CEO or CTO, or like there's so many different ways in which you can improve your retention. If you really said, I need to improve my retention funnel, if that becomes your goal, you find a way to do that. Right?
No, I agree.
Your retention funnel, your referral funnel, your like all of those are at play here. Like in times like this, remember good to great by choice, John.
Good to great by choice.
No, great by choice. Same guys.
Great by choice. Okay.
Remember the key learning there was like keep doing. The great companies were just kind of kept doing what they were doing rather than change up things in times of crisis, and that was like one of the biggest lessons. The difference between the great and the not so great was that not so great, every time there was some sort of a challenge, they would start to change tag, they would start to change course, they would start to try to do things completely differently, and that would over time throw them off their game.
Right.
So in this case, I am like, it's not me. I just think that the marketing doesn't need to be the way you're trying to approach it when you're just going after sponsors.
No, I like it. I still want to put together a lot of those materials for, hey, here's how, you can make your ad message convert better. You're sending people to your homepage of your,
that's your retention funnel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think
that's your retention funnel. That's all the training you have for them in the back ends, where you're like, okay, we have a webinar where I'll teach you how to get people to sign up to come to your website or to
I gotcha. So every month I email them and say, hey, I'm doing this just for my sponsors. We're going to do a webinar. We're going to talk about ad messaging.
Ooh, I love that.
And then you can schedule a call with me, and we'll look at your current ad message and see what ideas we have for how we can make it better. And then the next month it's, okay, how do we structure the landing page, or how do we come up with a lead magnet, or how do we, and then just, brainstorm that.
That's great. I mean, it works for two reasons. One, because you're educating and staying in touch with them, and positioning yourself as the expert. So
but it gives them a reason to stick around, because they're going to benefit, and they can benefit on how they do it with other podcasts as well.
Well, they're also seeing you face to face too, right? So you're building a relationship with them. And so, I mean, most of these kind of business relationships have nothing to do with the profitability, but just the actual relationship, right? So it's like they're more likely to stick around on your podcast because they're not. It's a personal insult if they are like, oh yeah, it's not worth sponsoring your podcast anymore. So, so I think building those relationships with them is the most powerful part of it, honestly.
Well, and I was talking to it was a while ago, but I was talking to Richard Campbell about how he does sponsorships, and he sends an email out every month letting them know the traffic numbers and stuff like that. And he's like that monthly touch point really helps people stick around.
You definitely need a retention funnel. It's like you need to be selling them every damn month. So the approach, so I feel like the approach you have taken is, and I might be wrong, and maybe I shouldn't say that out loud here, but maybe you're like, well, once I've sold them, now I don't want to keep reminding them that I've sold them on that damn thing. So let them just stick around. right? Or maybe
I've kind of evolved past that, but it never occurred to me to go back and rethink the way that I do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because initially, the sales, and then it was, well, how do I get them to give me money? And now I'm looking at it and going, well, they ought to sign up because I can get them what they want. But it's never evolved to the point where I was going, I need to be helping them on a regular basis to get what they want and make that part of the reason why they stay, right? It never occurred to me to go back and say, okay, how do I get them to want to stick around?
Right.
Yeah, it's like you have to think of that as one of the most important parts of the puzzle.
Yes.
Because it's otherwise you have a very leaky bucket. You're bringing in 20 sponsors and then you're losing 18 of them by the end of the third month. So you're on an endless podcast sponsorship churn, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if you stop that churn, you could literally double, triple your business just by stopping churn.
And I'd be more resilient.
Yeah, you're in the same churn business as John is in a different way. John is serving his membership and trying to constantly reduce his churn, and you have to do the same for your sponsors.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. The question though is, which is the higher priority? Reducing the churn on the existing sponsors or getting new sponsorships in? And I would say it's getting new sponsors in.
It's new sponsorships right now.
Because
here's the
because you can get good sponsors that don't churn, right?
Yeah.
Like that's there's a high probability of that, and you're not guaranteed that you can actually improve the churn rate of the sponsorships that don't fit. Like, for example, if someone is doing a sponsorship and they want to test it out, and their like acquisition costs on sponsoring your podcast is too high, it's not going to be profitable for them. It really doesn't matter what you do, how many webinars you get them on, unless you're helping them to actually improve that and it really is significant. They're just going to cancel it because it doesn't make any sense. Whereas if you take a new sponsor, and they have a big ass budget, and they're not even looking at actual return, they're doing more brand sponsorship, that company's going to stay on forever without you doing anything, because it's just a place for them to spend their ad budget.
Yes and no, because like unless your retention systems are fixed, your acquisition will always be the thing that you'll focus your energy on.
Yeah,
and you'll be forced to focus your energy on that.
Yeah,
because you got a hole in the bucket.
So you will be like that becomes it's the urgent versus the important. If your retention is not good enough, the acquisition will always be the urgent thing you need to work on, and it will never go away.
Yeah. So which do you prioritize then? If Chuck has 10 hours to work on stuff, what should he spend those hours on?
I would spend all the hours on a system that he's already proven to work, which was the referral system / outreach system or whatever.
Right.
And build an outreach, like retention funnel on the back end. Maybe split the time 70-30 or something, but you still have to build that retention funnel of some ways to not lose all those clients all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can outsource that work, if you can have someone else do that work for you or whatever it is.
Which part? The retention or the outreach?
The referral outreach, because once you write that email,
I've already outsourced that. I already have somebody doing that.
Yeah. So if referral outreach is the part that you can get done, then you can work on your retention funnel.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. We totally took you off.
No, it's fine. I'm trying to think through everything that's involved here. Cause I mean, what she does right now is she actually goes to other podcasts and conferences and looks at their sponsors. And then she finds the people on LinkedIn who are their marketing folks and sends them an email. She said, and it's all automated. I've already written it all up and everything, but I'm just trying to think, because I may actually go back and have her start going through, okay, we've got this, now that we've got a big list, because we got she's found me 900 companies.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Over the last few months.
Yeah.
So so we can continue to outreach them until they tell me to leave them alone. But the other thing is now we can go back through and I'm thinking that we may do the categorized approach, right? With the Dream 100.
Just use @gmail.com address, and just if it gets trashed, use another Gmail address.
Oh, instead of an @devchat.tv address.
Mm-hmm.
For sponsorship reach out? I don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's use DevChat. But his DevChat email address is already trashed, so he may not be getting delivery anyways.
I don't know. I mean, typically if you send a one-off email, you're going to get delivery, no matter how.
My 2000 books email address once it got trashed, and it took a long time for it to start inboxing again.
Yeah, but if you send personal emails,
personal emails, that's what I'm saying. It took me a long time to get my personal emails to inbox again.
I never had one of your personal emails not show up in my inbox.
Because we already had that going back and forth from my 2000 books email. But the new ones,
we're
not inboxing anymore.
I'm not sure about that. I think that I don't know.
You can test it. Chuck can test it by sending email to someone he knows. From his devchat.tv and see what happens.
Yeah. I have had a few people complain that the emails that I've sent them went up in spam.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I've been there. So Gmail would not be a bad idea in that case.
Yeah. Should we wrap this up and do thoughts? I got to run into a meeting here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got so much stuff going through my head. One thing that I have for a thought, and this is something that I'm still working through, so it may come out kind of half formulated, but I've kind of committed to too many things over the last week. I've been trying to finish 3 or 4 different projects, and I realized that even if something's a good idea, a lot of that stuff can you can kick it down the road a few weeks or months and still have it be a good idea then. And so at this point, I guess one part of the thought is, actually sit down when you're trying to decide to do something, sit down and get an idea of what you have to do over the next several weeks and actually set out time blocks for it.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have time block areas for that new thing, then don't do it. And then the other thing that is that I'm going to throw out there is, now that I am oversubscribed and I feel like I've made commitments that I can't really break with people with this stuff. I'm taking the same approach, right? So I'm not taking on any new things, but just pick one of those things and go at it with 100% focus until you can get it off your plate.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you go to the next one and do it, and the next one and do it. And some of this stuff too, you can only get so far, right? And then it's off your plate until somebody gets back to you for stuff. But at the same time, if you can clear it off, then when they get back to you, then you fit it into your schedule and clear it off again until it's gone.
Yep, I agree. It makes a lot of sense rather than trying to work on all these things at once, for sure.
Yep.
It's like in the movies where they like,
and they keep saying no.
well, they knock out the like the attacker and then they run away instead of killing him. It's like he gets back up and kills him.
Yeah.
The Punisher.
Yes. Mine is no, like, have good data from the very beginning. Like, again, I've been focusing on analytics, and even with everything I knew, like when I started Bulldog Mindset, I still didn't implement really good analytics, because at the point, like, you never think you need that level of analytics until you get to the point where it's complicated. And it's like from the very beginning, like, you should know for everything what the result was, right? So like if you post a blog post, you should know where people are coming from that are visiting the blog post. You should know what links people are clicking in the blog post, right? If you're selling a product, you should know like what ad, what method, what, every single sale that you make, you should know where that person came from. Even if you have to like put a survey at the end and have a required field that they fill out that that says it, or like having those analytics, that analytics data is extremely valuable, because it doesn't seem to matter at first, but when you start to get stuck in the business and you're trying to grow and you're trying to scale, you need to know exactly what's working and and really what it comes down to is what's not working, so you don't waste your time on stuff that's not working. If you can, because the game is elimination, and so eliminate all the things that don't actually produce a result. But the only way you can know that is the reason why we hang on to the shit that doesn't
if you
produce
can
a
measure
result.
it.
Yeah, because we hang on to shit because we're like, yeah, because I think this might be working, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't want to like take the risk. But if yeah, absolutely, this doesn't work, then you can just kill it.
Or if you're emotionally invested in it. A lot of times I feel like it was a brilliant thing that I did.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to kill it because I feel like it was a brilliant thing that I did.
Yeah.
But if I have numbers, then I have to argue with myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to say that a lot of times in business, the decisions we make come down to, and this I see way too much with my coaching clients these days, the difference between, can I like trying to figure out if I can, like, does this work? Does this work versus I will make this damn thing work?
Yeah.
And that's such a nuance, such an important distinction, because both can be perceived as persistence, right? Because you could be trying 25 different things and calling it persistence when you are in the mode of, does this work? Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try that. Let me try this. Let me see what works. And you can drive yourself nuts trying to do all of these different things, trying to figure out what works. That's like what I call broad persistence.
Yeah.
But what business really needs is deep persistence, where you say, okay, well, it's not whether this works or that works or this works or that works. It's that I know this damn thing works and I will make it work.
Right.
The commitment almost has to come before you know for sure that it works, because otherwise you're always looking for the sure thing and you never have the sure thing.
Yep. Yep.
You have to make the damn thing work rather than look for what is it that will work or that works. Because all the people who are quote unquote looking for what works are the opportunity seekers.
Right.
They still haven't committed to the cause of making this damn thing work.
Yeah.
So you don't want me to persist in trying everything?
No, I don't. This was not about you. This was about my coaching clients.
I know.
Not at all about you.
It's about all of us, because we're all trying.
Yeah, we all do it.
Instead of just doing one thing that works, or making the thing work. Yeah.
Making the thing work is the mindset that is way more powerful than trying to figure out which of these things, or trying to search for the perfect opportunity.
He's breaking up again, isn't he?
To making thing work. Hey guys.
Yep. it seems to be frozen up now.
Yep. Anyway, I think we get the point.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, good.
All right. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. So I was gonna say, like, I always use the analogy for what you're saying is, it's like digging out of prison with a spoon, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're in prison, all right, and you have a spoon, it's not the best tool for the job. Like, you'd rather have a shovel, right? But you only have a spoon, and you really want to get out of prison. So if you have enough will to make something work, you can make it work. It's not, it's a totally inferior tool for that job. But when you're in that, when you have no other choice except the spoon, you can make it work with the spoon.
Mm.
Sometimes it feels that hopeless too.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you next week.
Guys.
All right, bye.